Sticky
Cross.
Hi, my name is Anna.
And I'm Peyton.
And today, what are we doing today?
Today, we are doing a Q&A. What? So basically, we have been wanting to introduce ourselves to you all, and there was never like a great time to do so.
Yeah.
So we just decided now was the time because we've gotten a lot of new friends on this channel recently.
Yeah. So thank you to everyone who responded to our community post and our Google survey. We actually got a lot more responses than we expected to and a lot more questions than we expected to. So thank you for that. We tried to categorize the questions that we got into different groups, and also some of the questions that we got like overlapped. So if we don't read out the exact wording of the one that you sent in, but it's like a similar question to the one you sent in, sorry.
So the categories that we broke it into are about us, just generally, and then about us as K-pop fans, then just questions related to K-pop in general, and then miscellaneous. Just they didn't really fit into one of those categories, and there weren't enough to make another category.
So anyways, let us officially begin. So for this section, just a little disclaimer, there were a couple of questions that were about private information that we aren't super comfortable with sharing, so we either just chose not to answer those questions or are going to answer it with like something that is similar to answer it. You'll see what I mean.
But thank you for being curious about us.
Oh yeah, thank you. So let us officially introduce ourselves. So hello, my name is Anna and my Korean name is Hyunjin, and I am second gen Korean American, and I am 22 years old, born in 1998, so in Korea I'd be 23, and I edit all of our videos, and I am the resident singer on this channel.
Quick insert, if anyone noticed that her Korean name is Hyunjin, you may be thinking back to our Stray Kids videos where I never refer to Hyunjin as Hyunjin. This is why.
Anyways, Peyton.
Hello, I am Peyton. I am American as well, and too many ethnicities to list off. I am 24 years old. I was born in 1995, so in Korea I would be 26. I haven't had my birthday yet this year. I do the English and Korean subtitles for all of our videos and do like thumbnails and stuff. And I'm the dancer.
Stop! Peyton, how did you get into dancing? / what is your training experience, so people know that we actually know what we're talking about when we make comments on this channel?
Yes, I promise I know what I'm talking about. I started taking creative movement style classes in like the late summer, early fall of 1998 when I was about 2-3 years old. But I officially started taking dance classes when I was 5 and enrolled in ballet, and have been actively taking lessons and performing ever since. I started in ballet, but I've also been classically trained in modern, jazz, point technique, Horton technique, aerial arts, contemporary ballet, and then at different points in time, for different reasons, I've also taken hip-hop, ballroom, pretty much anything you can think of. At some point, I've probably had instruction in it, because I grew up in a pre-professional program and I danced with that company. As part of that pre-professional program, I also received choreography classes. The first piece I ever choreographed and staged, I did at 15, but I also started teaching when I was part of that program as well. So I was an assistant teacher starting at age 11, and I taught my own classes at 16. When I was an undergrad in college, I danced with our university's ballet company and modern company, and I also danced with the city's ballet company as well. And then there was no option to major or minor in dance at the college that we went to, but I completed the performing arts certificate requirements instead. And yeah, I have pretty much always danced at the pre-professional or later when I was older professional level, but in the last like 2-ish years, it's become more of just something that I do for a creative outlet, and because it is something that I love more than basically everything in the world. So it's not currently like the career path that I am on, but it will always be part of my life. Wow! Anna, what about you? How did you get into singing? What is your training?
Okay, so starting with just like music in general, I took piano lessons throughout elementary school. I played the cello for like a year, and then I switched to clarinet, but I stopped playing clarinet going into high school so that I could focus more on singing. Specifically for singing, I have been singing ever since I was a child, but I started learning proper singing technique around 4th grade, because that's when, outside of like the elementary school choirs that everyone is forced to do in their music classes, I auditioned for like the all-county choir, and that's where they started to teach the basics. I didn't really do singing as much in middle school, but in high school, I started focusing on it and I took proper lessons throughout all of high school, and I was being classically trained. So like a basic way to explain it is the more like operatic style that people think of. But then in college, I was in an a cappella group. That's where I started to sing more like pop music. And I also was minoring in music at school. Our college didn't have a music major, but it does have a really good music program. And it feels weird saying it, but I guess I technically have done music professionally because I've been paid for performances and recordings before. I just feel weird saying it.
Long story short, we promise that we know what we're talking about.
Yes.
All right, next question. So it's 2 parts. The first is, how did you two meet each other? And the second one was, can you tell us how the two of you became besties?
Can I tell a story?
You can tell the story.
Thanks. We met at college, but so it was the summer before my freshman year. I was visiting our school's campus because my older sister also went there, and Peyton is also friends with my sister. But that night, my sister had left to go volunteer at church, bless her heart. But she sent me to go with her roommate, who I am also friends with, to go to trivia night. And that's where I met Peyton.
We were on the same trivia team.
And it was really, really awkward until my sister's roommate remembered that both of us like K-pop.
The first group we ever talked about was 17.
Oh, really?
Wow. Mm-hmm.
Oh. And how do we become besties?
I don't know. I don't know how it happened. I just know that especially in the last 2 years, we've gotten a lot closer. Because I feel like before that, our relationship was a lot more like me treating Anna like a younger sister. Yeah. And now I still treat her like a younger sister, but it's like when you grow up and are actually friends with your siblings. I like it a lot better like this, though.
Thanks. Is it because I'm not, like, showing up randomly in your apartment?
Yeah, honestly, we probably got close because she and that year's group would always be in my apartment. I'd, like, walk in after class, and they would be in my bed taking naps and stuff, and I'd be like, how did you get into my apartment? Why are you here?
Hey, you told us that it was open, so...
That's true. I always wanted to have that apartment like Monica from Friends, where all of her friends were always there and, like, over, and I really had that when we were in college.
The next question is, how did this channel get created? Was it a mutual decision?
Okay, so Anna's also going to answer this question, because yes, it was a mutual decision, but I genuinely did not remember how this channel was ever brought up in conversation, but she does. So Anna, tell us how.
So we've referenced a few times in our videos that in 2019, for part of it, I was living in New York, and Peyton was one of the people that, like, I talked to a lot, like, through messages a lot back then, and we would always be like, when I move back home after New York, we should start a YouTube channel. What we talk about on our YouTube channel are just conversations that we have in real life about K-pop. Yes. And we're like, maybe people would like to hear what we have to say if there are other K-pop fans who are as crazy as we are.
Turns out people do want to hear what we have to say.
Crazy.
But we also thought we would take a chance to explain the name of the YouTube channel in our intro, because we've been asked about that on previous videos before. We thought of the Korean name first, actually, and we wanted it to be cute and I guess, like, kind of have alliteration or whatever. And so basically we both really like berries. Especially strawberries, but berries in general. Mm-hmm. And then so that's peri, like very. Peppa? Okay, so the Korean name is.
Oh yeah. Okay,
so the Korean name is peri pepe panung.
Yeah, so that translates into berries.
Berries.
Like berries, and then pepe is the Korean abbreviation for, like, best friend.
Yeah.
Haha. And then panung is the word for, like, to react to something.
And then that sounds better in English as very best reacts.
But then our intro, the whole, like, cross thing, I remember it starting as early as, like, Running Man, and then, like, it got super popular in, like, other groups and other people do it for fun. But the words that we're saying is 산 딸기. So 딸기 by itself in Korean means strawberry,
which
berry.
Is Anna. 100% it is Anna.
And then 산 딸기, that word together is the word for raspberry.
And I really like raspberries, and then at one point in my life, actually at multiple points in my life, I've been told that I'm like a raspberry because I can be sweet or sour, I guess. So that's why it's our intro. Anyway, next question.
Are you guys in college? No.
No. So we were, but if you do the math,
we are not.
We are no longer.
Yeah. Well, okay, so Peyton actually graduated and I'm taking time off of school right now. So I haven't graduated yet, but the answer is still no because I'm technically not in college right Yeah.
So then that goes into our next question, which was originally, what's your career profession? But instead of answering that specifically, we're just going to say what we studied in instead. So I studied international studies and psychology when I was an undergrad, and then I pursued further education in international relations.
And then I was a math and statistics major, but when I go back to school, I'm planning on studying something else. Next question is, do you know your MBTIs? And then on top of that, we decided to add what our Enneagrams are, if people know what Enneagrams are, and then also what our Hogwarts houses are.
So my MBTI is INTJ, and then there's like the AT at the end that's been added, but I can't answer that question because I legitimately flip back and forth and get like 51% every time I take it for like one or the other, so I'm like right down the middle for those. My Enneagram, if you don't know what that is, also you should look it up because it's so entertaining. I'm a 1 wing 2. My Hogwarts house, and I do not accept criticism on this because I have taken every single test available many times over many years, and I've always gotten the same answer, is Gryffindor. But I also know the order that my houses show in, so I'm a Gryffindor, and then very closely tied are Ravenclaw and Slytherin, and then Hufflepuff is at the bottom.
And then for me, I have gotten the same answer every single time that I take it, ever since I first took it in like the end of middle school or the beginning of high school. But I am an INFP/T. But my Enneagram is a 9 wing 1. And then my Hogwarts house, it switches between Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw depending on when I take it, because I'm taking it multiple times as well.
But moving on, the next question. This is going to be a very simple answer. Do you have siblings?
Yes.
Yes.
We're both the youngest of 4.
But I have 3 older sisters, and Anna has 2 older brothers and 1 older sister.
Yes. Next one. If it's not private, it's not private. What are your hobbies outside of K-pop, dance, singing?
Sleeping.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, sleeping. Well, we both like to read.
We both like to bake.
Yes, I do like baking, but I can't really bake at home right now because it's too much for me to eat by myself, and like my parents aren't gonna eat it, and it's not like I can go out and share it with friends right now, so sad. I like watching videos.
You play a lot of phone games. Do I like to do anything else? Baking, reading.
Cooking.
I like to play with kids when it's not quarantine. Oh, you do too. Next question. What are some of your go-to songs to cheer yourself up when you're down?
Okay. Songs about the sun. Literally, it's Here Comes the Sun, and then also Sunshine by Hoodie. Peyton?
So the first songs that I thought of were Power by EXO. I guess if you're looking for songs to cheer you up, early 17 title tracks especially. But the thing is, I guess I'm kind of dramatic, but when I'm upset, I like to listen to sad songs. Like I want to feel that emotion in music. So I don't really listen to songs to cheer me up. Like if I listen to happy songs, it means I'm in a good mood. Yeah, I don't know.
Last question for this section. Favorite book?
So my favorite standalone book is A Prayer for Owen Meany by John Irving. It is a fantastic book, and I get something new out of it every time I read it. And then my favorite series, if you can't guess, is Harry Potter. Harry Potter's like one of my first loves. I love that series.
So for me, my favorite series is not Harry Potter, sorry. It's The Chronicles of Narnia. I grew up reading that huge one that's like all 7 of the books in one book. My favorite standalone book is probably, right now, it's Pachinko. Just because like as a second-gen Korean American, like from an immigrant family, it just feels really relatable.
Next section. This category is the about us as K-pop fans. So starting off, what is your first K-pop group before you became fans and why? We have the same answer and Anna's gonna give it.
The Wonder Girls!
Mm-hmm.
So I know a lot of people refer to the Wonder Girls trying to make it into America as like a failure, but like it wasn't a failure because it was both of our first exposure to K-pop. But for the why, our answers are a little bit different. So I had heard of Nobody before. I think my older brother, he told me like, oh, these people are Korean, and I was like, whoa, that's so cool. And I looked them up and I was like, whoa, they went on tour with the Jonas Brothers. Wow.
And then I saw them on tour with the Jonas Brothers. That was my first exposure to K-pop and then also just Korea in general.
But then after that is what got you into K-pop and how long have you been K-pop stans?
So I think I've referenced this in a few videos before, but I have been a K-pop stan since the fall of 2014, which was my freshman year in college. On my first year floor, there were a ton of K-pop stans. Anna knows almost all of them. They were all my friends through college. They introduced me to K-pop because they knew that I liked to dance, and so they were like, oh, we think you would really like this, and then they showed me a bunch of dance practices, and like, hey, guess what? I liked it, and here we are 6 years later.
For me, it was September of 2009. I was in middle school. It was during lunch, and one of the boys sitting at my table asked me if I had listened to Sorry Sorry by Super Junior, and I was like, what is that? So I went home from school that day, and I looked it up, and the rest is just history.
On that note, the next question is, first group you stand, and do you still stand them to this day?
So while the first K-pop song that I listened to, like looked up on my own, was Sorry Sorry by Super Junior, I don't know if the first group I stand was Super Junior or SHINee, because they just like happened simultaneously. But if you have seen this YouTube channel, then you would know that yes, I do stand them still to this day. Peyton?
So mine is similar. I had a couple happen simultaneously just because of what my friends were showing me, and when I first became a K-pop stan, the only groups I was exposed to were the ones my friends were fans of. Within a few days, I became a fan of SHINee, TVXQ, 2PM, and GOT7, like within the span of 2 days, and I am still fans of all of those groups to this day.
But then, who is your ultimate group?
EXO. Who is your ultimate group, Anna?
It's hard because I have a few.
Mhm.
But I'm gonna say 17. We have said before, I love 17. I have been supporting them since January or February of 2013.
Related to that, Anna, who's your ultimate bias and why?
I know, I had to think about this one. So we did do a bias versus bias video, and in there, my bias is Chunwonu from 17. On a purely superficial level, he fits my usual ideal bias type, which is like the looks kind of intimidating on the outside, but then when they start talking or like when they smile, they like are very sweet and soft. But on a deeper level, I guess, I just really relate to his whole like very introverted nature, but then when you're with really close friends and are comfortable, you are crazy. I also really like how he seems very much like an intellectual, because he's always talking about like how he reads a lot and like this book that he's been reading, and he's very much a Ravenclaw in my opinion, where he's like very curious about things and is always trying to learn new information. And just like what you can see of his personality from different videos and interactions, I just really like it, I guess. Peyton, what about you?
So in the Bias You Bias video, you also could find out that my ultimate bias is Park Chan-yo. But honestly, I don't think I've ever had to put into words why, so this was really hard for me. Like, the first thing that comes to mind, honestly, is just that he's so talented. But like, I think it's more just like he's so hardworking and diligent and very passionate about the things that he's interested in. Like, it's a tribute to how diligent and passionate he is, the amount of instruments that he's taught himself, or like how much he's grown in singing and in rapping and in like producing and dancing, even though he's naturally not a dancer. It goes beyond the music too. Like, he's just very passionate and puts complete effort into anything that he's doing, and I like admire that a lot. But also, like, there's just other smaller things, like he loves kids. But I guess also, like, he's really funny and everyone knows that, but more than his variety humor, I really like his kind of sarcastic, witty one-liners that he has. Like, if you watch the Studio MNG vlogs, you'll know what I'm talking about, because it's the type of thing that I would find funny in real life. And yeah, I don't know, I don't think there's one specific thing. There's just something about him that I really, really like, which is also interesting because unlike Anna and Wonu, where Wonu really fits her like typical bias type, I feel like Chanyeol doesn't really fit my typical bias type that we have figured out, you know?
I guess now that that's done with. Next question, who is your favorite rookie that debuted this year?
Okay, so honestly, I have been exposed to more rookies this year because of this YouTube channel and people recommending them to us, just because as I get older, I like am less inclined to get into new groups even if I listen to the song. And so while I have enjoyed listening and reacting to all of the rookies that we have done this year, because it's new exposure to stuff, there's really only 2 exceptions to the whole like I don't know anything about them, and that's Tio, because they were on Road to Kingdom, and then because of that we got to know their personalities a little bit more, and I've like watched other videos on them, and Treasure, because I have been a Bang Ye-dam fan for basically as long as I've been in K-pop, and he is part of Treasure, and so I started watching their videos to support him, and now I know the rest of them and support them as well. So what about you, Anna?
I mean, same for me. I don't really get into new rookie groups. Like, honestly, I'm really surprised that I'm even now standing groups and like getting into groups that debuted after 2016. It's all because of this YouTube channel. But yeah, for this year specifically, it's just gonna be Tio, just because of Road to Kingdom, and like we got to know them. And also, we both really enjoyed Hana Dul Sego. So, yeah. And then I guess I should read this last question. To Peyton, is there any memorable moments you have related to your favorite K-pop group? Yes, there are!
Honestly, I didn't think I was going to have an answer to this question when I first read it, and then I thought about it and I was like, wait, there's so many, because I don't think I'm a lucky person, but for some reason when it comes to K-pop and like random things happening, I am very lucky. So I just picked a few. First, generally speaking, just seeing an EXO in concert is something that I will always remember. More personally, so 2 examples. Last year during KCON, Anna was with me. We did not eat dinner before we saw the concert, and so we were super hungry at like 11:30 at night afterwards. We saw KCON in New York. Madison Square Garden's like a walk away from K-Town, so we were like, we'll just go eat and then we'll go. So we went in and we put our name down at a restaurant, and they were like, okay, yeah, like, can you just wait outside for like 15 minutes? And we were like, yeah, okay, because it wasn't crowded inside, so we were like, why can't we just wait in here? But we were like, yeah, sure, whatever. So we're standing outside the restaurant, and then all of a sudden this bus pulls up, and out walked 17, and Anna and I were both just like, what? Because they were literally like 5 feet away from us just walking into this restaurant. And I will never be over this, because then we're still processing the fact that we're in the same restaurant as 17, and all of a sudden the stranger next to us hands me their baby. And so I'm like, hello, what? Hello.
Also, that same night, earlier at KCON, what is it?
Oh, yeah.
A security guard walked up to us, asked us if we could speak Korean, and I had to tell this Korean man that he was being kicked out because he was trying to smuggle something in.
I mean, this is also the same day that we shook hands with Eric Nam, so like, KCON was wild, y'all. And then the second one happened in January of 2020, and I've talked about it a couple of times on this channel before, but I got to go see Music Bank because of a connection that one of my professors had, and they don't fill the front row, but we were in the second row, and I was about 10 feet away from Chae Bomin from Golden Child, aka my child, and that was wild. And then I also was like 10 feet away from AT, so that was also wild. So, yeah. Next category. So next questions are just questions generally about K-pop, not our experience as fans. So first, what are some of each of your favorite K-pop songs at the moment and of all time?
Favorite K-pop songs at the moment. So after our Stray Kids miniseries, I've been listening to the Repackage in Life album a lot. And I know this isn't like a recent song, but I've been listening to Day6, 행복했던 날. 행복했던 날들이. That was the English title. Days Gone By. But then of all time, there's too many. So I'm just gonna say one of them is 너라고, It's You by Super Junior. I love that song.
Okay, yeah, this really is like choosing favorite children. So for the ones of most recent, I just went to my on repeat playlist that Spotify makes you. I chose 2 through 4 because 1 will get mentioned later. But right now, I'm listening to Sunshine by Stray Kids, A Song Written Easily by ONEUS, and Between Me and You by Infinite, but the live version that Seongkyu and Woohyun sang at Seongkyu's live concert. And then, of all time, there's so many for so many good groups, but anyone that knows me knows my favorite K-pop song of all time is Toy by Block B.
Next one is, what's your favorite concept? Dark, girl crush, cute, innocent, mature, or something else?
So I think in general, it won't be really a shock to anyone that I do tend to prefer more like mature or like dramatic concepts. But my big thing about concepts is just as long as it fits the group, I enjoy it. So I can really get behind a very cute concept if the group fits that concept really well and it's a good song and they all look comfortable. In the same way I can get behind a more mature concept if they all look comfortable, it's a good song, it's good choreography, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm like kind of similar. I don't really have a favorite concept that I lean towards, and that's just because like when people talk about concept, it's not really about the music as much. It usually more affects the music video, the dance performance, or the outfits that they're wearing. So for me, it is more just like whatever suits the group. Although I am less inclined to listen to like the cute, innocent ones lately. If I listen to like a cute, innocent concept thing, it's usually like just old throwback songs for the nostalgia.
Do you listen to B-side songs?
Yes.
Yes.
What is one song by your faves that you absolutely do not like?
There is none? Like, so when I'm thinking faves, I'm thinking like my top groups that I actively follow. Like the reason that I actively follow them and are their fan is because I like their music and I like their performances. And so there are obviously songs that I prefer over others, but I was thinking about it and I don't think I've ever been listening to one of their albums and thought like, I don't like this song.
Same. Like my faves are my faves for a reason. I like everything about them, especially their music.
What's your favorite K-pop outfit this month?
This is an interesting question. We see on Instagram, like, people will have outfits inspired by a group's music video or like inspired by the album or whatever, and I'm like, that's really cool. I'm not interested enough in fashion and care about my own style enough for that. So I was trying to think about it, and I don't really have an answer for it just because I don't really pay attention to it. So I'm sorry if that sounds like a cop-out.
So yeah, I have a few friends actually in real life that are very into the fashion of K-pop, and they have recreated outfits that their favorite idols have worn. And I think that that's really cool, but like Anna, I'm just not that interested in the fashion part of it. But when I was trying to think about this, one stage outfit came to mind from recent months, and the 80s hanbok inspired outfits that they wore at the Suwon performance when they were in the fortress. Yeah, those were stunning. Like, whoever designed those, they were stunning. I showed them to my sister. My sister studied fashion design and is like a costume maker for a theater company. And I was like, look.
Okay, next question. Who is your favorite member in The Boys?
Oh my god.
We've answered this so many times.
What day of the week is it?
Yeah.
So, like I said in our last reaction to The Boys, or one of our more recent reactions to The Boys, I don't remember, I have like come to the realization that Chani, New is his stage name, really is my like favorite member of The Boys, like the one that I'm the most fond of and I'd speak about the most, and I can verify this. But I also am like incredibly fond of the English line, and anyone who watches any of our reactions to The Boys knows that Jiyeon and Sunwoo affect me the most, and then like Hyunjae wrecked me, and so like really, is there such a thing as a bias in The Boys? Probably not. Anna, what about you?
My answer is the same as the one that I gave in our finale for our Who Are the Boys series. So the person I probably think of the most as a bias is Sangyeon, but I adore the Canada line, especially Kevin Moon, who we have called my twin, because
INFP, Pisces. There are so many other things that I can't say.
because of private information. But then,
anyways,
next one.
What is your favorite Pentagon song?
I've still been very strict about what I listen to from Pentagon because we still have a lot of requests for Pentagon reactions on our list. So I haven't listened to a lot, but as of right now, it's Spring Snow, 봄 눈.
And then mine are Can You Feel It? Can You Feel It? Is that the English name? Kamioji? And Like This.
Okay, so the next one is Why Do You Not React to BTS? We have gotten this in the comments.
So now we can let everyone know. We will start off with, it's not that we don't listen to their music. Like, we both actually had huge phases where we were huge armies, and we still are more like casual listeners. But it's just that their more recent promotions have tended to overlap with other groups that we are also fans of and that we also follow. And since we know that BTS will get a lot of coverage on other reaction channels, we have prioritized the ones that we don't think will get as much coverage, just because since we are distance reacting, we have to pick and choose sometimes.
Yeah, and like, we can't react to any of their old content because we've already seen it
so many times.
So, very exciting. Our last question for this category, we actually got a Korean response. So basically, I'm going to read the question in Korean. I'll do a little English summary. Peyton is going to answer it in Korean because yes, she's fluent in Korean because she does her Korean subtitles, and then she'll do a little English summary of her answer. So basically, what the person sent in was 안녕하세요. 리액션 너무너무 인상 깊게 보고 있는 한국 사람이에요. 특히 로드 투 킹덤 리액션 너무너무 재밌었어요. 하시는 말들 중에 공감되는 말이 정말 많아서 즐거웠어요. 혹시 얼마 전 엠넷에서 방송했던 빅히트 서바이벌 프로그램 아일랜드 아시나요? 방송을 전부 리액션하는 건 힘들겠지만 무대 퀄리티가 아주 좋아서 총대 유닛 퍼포먼스, 케미 테스트, 컨셉 테스트 등등 리액션 해주시면 새롭고 재밌을 것 같아요. 이미 계획도 있으시고 바쁘실 것 같지만 최애 픽하는 것도 재밌을 것 같아서 혹시 몰라 한번 어쩌봐요. 한국 장막 달아주셔서 너무 감사합니다. 유유유 화이팅이에요. Oh! So basically the person was saying that they are a Korean person who watches our videos. They especially enjoyed our reactions to Road to Kingdom. Thank you. They were wondering if we had heard of Island, and like, we don't need to react to all of Island because that would be a little bit difficult, but if we could watch like certain performances from like, I guess, different things that happen on Island, different rounds, that might be fun, and after it maybe even pick a bias. Peyton? Peyton's worried about her Korean, but I think that she's great. It's super cute.
시작. 네, 아일랜드 알아요. 근데 우리 둘 다 Produce Series 봤는데 그거 보고 나서 이제 더 이상 연습생 서바이브 프로그램을 못 봐요. 왜냐면 연습생들이 열심히 연습하는 모습 보고 탈락할 때 마음이 너무 아파요. 하지만 우리는 그 프로의 무대에 리액션 할 수 있어요. 보고 싶은 무대 몇 개 있으면 댓글에 남겨주세요. And then basically I was just like, yes, we do know Island. But after both of us watched the Produce series, especially Produce season 2, we don't really watch trainee survival programs anymore because it's really sad to see how hard the trainees are working to debut and then they get eliminated. But if there are like specific stages that people want to see us react to, just put them in the comments and we would definitely do that.
Last category! We didn't really know how to group these, so there's a lot of questions in this category.
Starting off with, what is your favorite song at the moment, any genre?
So for Korean songs, it's the Day 6 song that I said earlier. But for not K-pop, I don't know, it's weird because I go through phases of listening to stuff a lot. So recently I listened to the Hamilton soundtrack a lot, but then also you can like never go wrong with the Marina and the Diamonds songs. So
my favorite K-pop song recently is the one that I skipped in my answer earlier, Cheated the System, and it's Accident by Woods. And then the song I've been listening to the most outside of K-pop is Lonely Eyes by Lauv.
Alright, next. Do you often listen to sad songs?
Yes.
No.
Next. What are some songs that almost always make you cry or feel super emotional?
I'm gonna do one Korean, one not Korean. So my Korean one is That's Okay. I think that's the English title, by Dio. It was released as an SM Station song. And then my English one is Gravity by Sarah Bareilles. Or She Used to Be Mine, also by Sarah Bareilles, from the Waitress soundtrack. Yeah.
And then for me, I just chose the first 3 that came to my head. So Promise by EXO will always make me cry. Breathe by Lehigh also will always make me cry. And then my non-Korean one, His Daughter by Mary-Kate Kessner, is a great song, but it will make you feel super emotional.
Next one. Do you prefer bad songs with meaningful lyrics or good songs with bad lyrics?
Why can it not be a good song with good lyrics?
Right.
But if I have to choose one of these options, I would probably say a good song with bad lyrics because I can listen to it and focus on the music and block out the lyrics as long as it's not anything like super offensive. But if it's a bad song, I won't be able to enjoy the good lyrics because I'll never want to listen to it.
I had the same exact answer.
We share one brain cell. Do you have a playlist? If yes, playlist? If yes, can you tell us what songs you save?
Okay, so I don't really make playlists. Instead, when I listen to music, I like have songs that I'm in the mood for, or like that sort of vibe that I'm in the mood for that day, and then I'll just put like shuffle radio based on that song, or I will like just listen to an entire album on repeat or like an artist's entire discography on repeat.
So first, I also do that a lot while I listen to just like an artist, their whole discography on repeat, but I do actually make playlists. I make a lot of them though, so I'm not gonna like read off what's on all of them, but just a couple of examples. So like I have one playlist where I literally just dump any Korean song that goes into my library just in case I ever want to listen only to Korean music, or I have another one and the title is Sentimental with a Splash of Melancholy because I am dramatic, and it's songs like It's You by Henry or Over Under by Gracie Abrams, like that sort of mood. And so basically just whereas Anna will like go to a song radio for like that she's in the mood for, I will just actually make the playlist because I don't want surprises. I want to hear what I want to hear.
Oh, I want surprises because I want it helps me get introduced to like songs that I don't know. Next one is, what song would you recommend from a group you like that a lot of people don't talk about or don't get or doesn't get a lot of attention?
Wow, okay. The first thing that came to mind was Gugudan, and the song I would recommend is Not That Type because I loved that. It's their most recent release over a year ago. And then the second thing I thought of was just literally anything that Baekhyun has ever released.
Okay, so for me, literally it was just any second gen K-pop song that doesn't get a lot of covers. Unlike Neurotic, which like every single group has covered at some point, other second gen K-pop songs. So like the first group that came to my mind was Double S501, Double S501, because I feel like a lot of new K-pop fans, especially the English speaking ones, don't really know them as well. Like some of their songs are Love Ya, Your Man, their debut was Snow Prince. Another one that I was thinking of was 널 부르는 노래가, but a song calling you? I don't know. But yeah.
In your opinion, which groups do you see lasting a long time, more than 7 years? And which ones do you think will disband?
Okay, so this question is like, I really cannot answer this. And that's because, like, obviously groups that I like, I want them to last longer, and I would never wish upon any group for them to disband. It's hard because there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that K-pop fans will never know about, and we just will never see or hear about it. Especially with contract renewals, we don't know, like, as much as like members may want to stay together in a group, like we don't know what it's like with the company, what their contract is saying. Maybe there's like stuff going on in their personal lives, which is why they can't like resign. So it's, you just really can't say. Yeah.
No, I have the exact same answer, so it's not worth repeating.
All right, next one is, do you guys watch Knowing Brothers? If so, do you have a favorite episode? Should I answer first?
Because you can answer first.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna answer first. That I do watch Knowing Bros, but I don't have a favorite episode.
God, this is like, it's like this question was written for me.
Yeah.
I watch Knowing Brothers all the time, and I go back and rewatch my favorite episodes, so I had to limit myself to 3. My favorite 3 episodes, in no particular order: EXO, their most recent episode, episode 208, if anyone wants to go watch it. It's the one that has the very famous whisper game in it. B2B's episode 74. I can think about Yuk Sung-jae's personal talent that he shows in that episode and literally laugh myself to tears just by thinking about it. My absolute favorite Knowing Brothers episode of all time is Infinite's episode 46. I literally rewatched it 2 days ago. It's so funny. Song Jong really shines in that episode. Like, he's so funny. Moving on to Anna. I actually love your flawless skin. Can you give us some skincare tips?
Thanks! That's really nice!
It's so nice, but everyone's about to be so frustrated.
What? I am Korean, but I don't have like a crazy long 10-step skincare routine. Literally, all I do is cleanse, toner / essence, depending, and then moisturize. And I have a really dry skin type, so especially in winter, I have to moisturize a lot. But also, like, I don't need to have as crazy of a routine, I feel like, because I don't wear makeup. And then also, I think my eating habits might help, because I don't really eat junk food or snacks on a regular basis. And also, I drink like 2.5 to 3 liters of water every single day.
I'm just gonna put it out there. She's literally a houseplant. And Anna, what is your motto?
Hydrate or dihydrate. So next question is, if you have a chance to go on a tour around the world, which country do you want to go to?
Korea? No, I'm just kidding. I mean, honestly, I'm not even kidding. I would go back to Korea in a heartbeat if I could. I love visiting. But outside of that, I really want to go to Singapore. Travel, like, is motivated mostly for me by food or culture. And Singapore obviously has delicious food. And then also I have a ton of friends from Singapore, so I'd love to go visit where they're from. And then outside of that, I would love to go back to Europe on like a not family or school vacation and get to like backpack around and explore, because I'm a big history nerd, and Europe has like a very, very rich history that I've always been really interested in ever since I was really little. And so I would love to go explore that.
Literally, my locations are the same, but for different reasons. Okay, so obviously Korea for various reasons, but also Peyton has been to Korea more than I have, which is not fair. I also want to go to Singapore because of the food, and also I do have a couple of friends who live there as well. Surprisingly, my friends in Singapore are different from Peyton's friends. Who knew?
Like, there's one overlap.
And then I also want to go to Europe, specifically the music history there. God, if I could like see an actual opera in Europe, that would make my life. A specific country in Europe, I want to go to France because I took French in school.
This is a great question, actually, and we're glad someone asked because we were going to address it if it wasn't asked. But in your older videos, you've always filmed side by side in real life. Will that ever return, or will the separate settings be permanent? Of course, distancing is needed in these times, but just wondering.
Oh. So yeah, in our first few videos, we are together, which by the way, you do not have to go back and watch those. I am completely fine with no one ever seeing those again. Obviously, we would love to film with each other together in person. It's just because of the situation right now, we can't do that. We are both currently living at home with our parents, so we're actually in completely different states as well.
Hopefully we can go back to reacting together sooner rather than later though, because 1, it's more fun. 2, I miss Anna. This is the longest we have. This is the longest we haven't seen each other in person since we met 4 years ago, including when she lived in New York. So, but distancing is more important, and health and safety of ourselves and our families is also important, and of everyone else is also important. So.
And I guess kind of leading into that is the next question, which is, how are your current lives? Hope you're both doing well. Smiley face.
Oh, that's so sweet. I'm doing pretty good. I am more introverted, so like it's not too crazy, and I have family here, so I'm good. Just staying safe and like hoping that everyone else is also staying safe and healthy and happy. I have a great new hobby for quarantine. This YouTube channel.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty similar. I'm extremely introverted. So yeah. I've been okay. And like YouTube has taken up a lot of my time, which is giving me something to do, which is good. Yeah, I think we're both doing pretty okay.
Yeah.
Especially considering where America's at right now, but anyways.
So the question is, would you consider doing reactions plus commentary and analysis to dance practices? Would love to see it. Okay, so here's the thing. The reason that we don't do them, we've mentioned this a couple of times in like comment responses and stuff. When I watch dance practices, I look like I'm not enjoying myself because I'm super focused and I have a bit of an RBF. And that is simply a byproduct of how long I've danced and how much training I've had in choreography and in cleaning pieces especially. Like if you've seen me watch a performance video or a live stage, you might be like, what? Like why would it be any different? But it is fundamentally different because when you're in a practice video, it's like, to me at least, my training looks at that as like, oh, there are still room for improvements, like you're still practicing, you're still perfecting everything. So I'm looking for like what could be tweaked. Whereas when I watch performance videos and performances, I can enjoy them because it's like the final product, like nothing will be changed from that. That's what they've decided to go with, or it's a live performance, so you get one chance. So yeah, honestly, I just don't think it would be enjoyable for other people, and I don't really think other people want to hear like things that I think can be changed in dances. Also, Anna doesn't have the dance training that I have, so like she wouldn't be able to say anything, which is why we don't do them. But like if people really want to see them, maybe in the future when we have this more down pat, we can try it out. We'll see.
So next question is, can we listen to you both singing or perhaps doing a cover someday? Will you do any cover song or mayhaps dance in the future?
So first, I love that you used mayhaps. I think it's something that we have both considered, and I actually think we have at least one planned as like a thank you video, but Anna has more of an answer to this than I do.
So yeah, we do have it in mind for like a big subscriber milestone in like the further future. For me personally, I have been thinking about opening like a separate singing cover channel on YouTube, but that internal debate and procrastination has been going on for many months now. So we'll see what happens.
Okay, next question. Do you consider some giveaways for the subscribers?
So to answer the basic question first, we've thought about it, but that's probably something for further future just because we don't make any money off of this channel. Everything we react to is copyrighted, and also we don't have like a Patreon or anything like that, so we don't make any money off of this. I mean, that wasn't really our goal to begin with making this channel. Our goal for this channel was just to create a fun and informative space for K-pop fans. So I think we've done that. But one thing we wanted to include in our answer to this was we love our subscribers. Like, yes, we talk about you guys all the time with each other. Not in a weird sense, but like...
maybe in a weird sense.
I don't know. I hope it's not weird. Especially people who like have been with us for a while or like comment regularly. We like will talk about you guys. Yeah.
So we literally talk about you all like we know you and you're our friends. Because you are.
You think of us as friends too. But basically, we'll see what we can do in the future about giveaways once this gets bigger and is more like set in stone. The next one is really nice. It's not really a question, but they said, I don't really have questions since it may be private info. Just want to say, stay safe to both of you. I find your videos very packed with information that the viewers can really digest well. Keep safe. Oh! That's so nice!
So sweet.
Thank you!
And then we got another response that literally just said, love you guys, with a heart. And you know, we love you too.
Thank you for the love and the validation. Oh, it's so nice. And then we wanted to end this Q&A video with the most like sentimental, serious question that we got, and I'm loving it. Peyton's a little like, ugh. But basically, the question was, to Peyton, Anna is. To Anna, Peyton is. So Peyton, I'm ready.
Okay,
Tell me how much you love me.
To me, Anna is irreplaceable, which also happens to be my favorite word if that tells you anything about my feelings for Anna. She has truly grown to be one of my closest like confidants and friends. And when I was little, I'm the youngest of 4, like we said earlier, and I have quite an age gap between my siblings. So I always wanted that like little sister that was closer in age to me. And I feel like Anna has really become that and is everything that I would have wanted and that I prayed for in a little sister. And more than that, Anna inspires me to be a better person and to challenge myself and she's like taught me a lot of things. Like one great example is Anna gives and receives love very differently than I do or than like anyone I know does. And in learning how to give and receive that sort of love, I have really grown as a person, especially since I'm not generally very emotional. So yeah, she's very irreplaceable to me in my life. And then after I wrote all of that, I literally wrote out, ooh, feelings.
Well, at first I wasn't sure how serious and deep we were trying to get with this. So first of all, Peyton is the person that I talk to the most on a regular basis. Peyton is the person I am the most honest with in my whole life, because I basically tell her like practically everything. And I'm not super great about opening up about how I truly feel about things, but Peyton is great because she like develops this space and makes you feel like you can really open up to her. Because in like with a lot of Peyton's interactions, she's the mom friend and you kind of feel like you can go to her with anything, and I truly feel that. I appreciate you a lot. You're great. I love you. Lots. Yeah.
Love you too. Moving on. And with that emotional moment, our Q&A is over. If you actually made it all the way to the end of this video, oh my god! When we were thinking about how long this should be, we were like, like 20 minutes.
That's what you were saying. I was immediately like, an hour long?
Yeah. Guess who was right? Again, because I was like, we'll just answer every question with one word. It'll just be like,
liar. I know what college we went to. I know what we're like.
That's true.
We would not answer this in one word. We need to like, it's like we have a thesis statement in our minds and we're like, here's my reasoning, support, examples for every single thing, okay?
That's true. Anyways, just one more time, we want to say thank you so much to everyone that has ever watched any of our videos, liked any of our videos, commented on any of our videos, subscribed to our channel. Like, we aren't kidding. We really have so much love for all of you and are so appreciative. And still every day we like wake up and look at like the channel and talk about how we're like, it's insane to us that people watch our videos. Like it's still to this day is insane to us. So thank you so much.
And we hope you got to learn a little bit more about us through this. If you actually watched the whole thing, wow.
Wow, you deserve an award. I wish we could give you one.
I know. Gold star. I don't know if this changes your opinion on us at all, but who knows?
Hopefully if it does, it's for the better. So yeah, thank you.
I feel
as always, I guess
our usual video ending.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Like, we can do it. 구독과 좋아요.
알람 설정까지.
Bye bye.